everybody. So, on this episode of Token Travelers, we had Sook on from South Korea, and it was awesome. Conversation was great. We talked about a recent trip to Vietnam. We talked about her Where My Feet Go collection, which is an amateur photo essay of places she travels. She takes a picture of the ground. It's usually really aesthetic or pictures of the scenery, right? It's actually pretty profound. It's pretty neat, and it like challenges some stigmas. We talked about blockchain gaming and how gaming and art are incredibly important to adopting blockchain technology. But there's a catch. The last few podcasts, I've had really bad luck with production. Um, this last one, there was a giant heat wave. It's 110 degrees. I had the air conditioning on. I really didn't think the microphone would pick it up. So I've done my best to edit it out, but there is a buzzing sound. I hope that you can get past it and hear the conversation because it was a really, really good one. Probably one of the best. All right. So hope you enjoy it. I'm Isaiah with Token Travelers. Today I have Sook with me, and we're going to talk about her recent travels, your recent travels, and I wanted to touch on like Where My Feet Go another time, which is your photography project. And I just kind of wanted to get a background on you as well for listeners so that people know like who's. I think it's really nice to put a context to who's creating these projects, and I think that context helps a lot. So we talked about that last time.
Yeah, thank you for bringing me again to Token Travelers. Isaiah, it's always my pleasure to talk to you. And let me see where I should begin. Just to introduce myself, I'm Sook, and currently I have a job as a marketing manager at L1 blockchain development company called Arden. We've been here and building for a very long time, since 2017, and actually our company is more known as art ecosystem. So we have a coin, and also we have built around a set of tools for developers who are involved in blockchain and they want to build their dApps right away. So that's what I do mainly. So I keep track of the development, technical development side of blockchain, and also build communities with regards to MSQ. MSQ is actually a website, a platform that we have built to introduce NFT project issues around blockchain gaming and the metaverse, which is really hot issues across the industry. So that's my major role for now. And to introduce about my career as a photographer, or like my ambitions as a photographer, is actually I just think that the special thing behind photography is that you can capture a moment that's passing away. Like I think it's like a human. There's something very human about us. Is that we know that this moment too that I'm talking with you will pass away, and the only way we can record these things is through writing or like photography. And I think that's what makes photography very special and valuable to us. So for me, I'm not like a amateur photographer. I didn't learn photography at school, or nobody has taught me. But it's just my instinct, something I do on a very like normal daily basis. So I don't recognize this as like a education or like a professional something. Everybody can take photos, and for me, it just happens that I took a lot of photos of my feet and where I've been to, and mostly it's not because like I tried to create that setting to take that photo, but it was like the moment was just right for me to take it. And then after looking back, I feel like I want to share the story behind all those photos of my feet that I have taken over time. And some just go back to like 2013, 2014, like when iPhone was like, like back in the old days with
like iPhone 4. Yeah.
Yeah, even before that. So like, I don't really remember what my first iPhone was, but since then I really enjoyed taking photos with my camera as well. So yeah, that's more like the brief introduction to me and the collection. Yeah.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I can't wait to talk to you a little bit about some of the blockchain gaming issues you might be aware of too. But about like phone photography, there's this new Galaxy out that like my friends, okay, I have some friends that have gone, they've like borrowed a trailer from me so that they can like haul all this camera equipment and they can sleep in the trailer and they want to haul it to like do like galactic photos, right? Like they want to capture like dark matter and they're using these like crazy lenses. They got to know like where the constellations are going to be in the night sky.
Right.
So like
Yeah.
a lot of like astronomy, like they're just so
Mm.
intense, right? And now
Right.
like this probably makes them so upset. The Galaxy, I don't know the name of it, maybe you will. But one of the new Galaxies, and I'm an iPhone person myself, has like 100 zoom feature. And so I
Mm-hmm.
went camping recently and we were in the mountains, so it was like a clear night sky, right? Like no light pollution. And then
Mm-hmm.
my friends took a picture of the moon. Like he zoomed in and like held his hand as steady as he could, and you can see all the crater. It was so crazy. Do you know what I'm talking
Oh my
about?
God. Yes, yes, yes.
You've seen
You
it.
know, yeah, but even iPhone, when they advertise their products, it's not about, voice call or like, other features that they have, like Siri, but it's more like photography. They always show like these are the photos that are taken by
Yeah.
iPhone. So
Yeah.
I, yeah, I don't think like just because you have like this huge camera, it doesn't mean like you can capture the best moments of the world.
Well, and like no cell phone's gonna ever be as good as like it might be as good as cameras we have now, so to speak, that are available, but like they'll never be as good as a dedicated camera with like a dedicated lens. But it's crazy, like you said, the iPhone billboards I'll always see is like some crazy nice like nightclub picture and it's like taken on iPhone 11 Pro or something. And now that's outdated, but like the picture quality of stuff, like I'll look through my iPhone 3, and like it's just so crazy like how far like a mobile phone's cameras come. So I don't think it's something to be disregarded. I thought you actually kind of inspired me. I'm thinking about doing like a photography collection just from like phone photos until I like
Mhm.
release some more serious stuff. But I just
I would love
like
to see that.
I want to have like more of a theme. It can't
Mhm.
just
Right.
be like I feel like you have a really cool thing going with WMFG, which you're wearing a hat for now. And so I think that there needs to be like an intention or like an essay behind it, sort of like
Mhm.
you do and some other people do. So I think I'll just like keep shooting and then like curate a collection as time goes on and start shooting like a little bit more intentionally with the phone. But
Mhm.
I'm not ready to like mint. I wouldn't take it
Mhm.
that serious.
Mhm.
Okay, so did you recently went to Vietnam, right? And
Yes.
you were just telling me too that you caught a little bit of a tan.
Yeah, I did. I did. I mean, most Vietnamese were shocked to know that I was Korean because I didn't know, but um, they're so welcoming about the Korean culture and just knowing that I'm Korean, their attitude kind of changes. So at first, when I walked into a restaurant or walked into the hotel, they just thought I was a Vietnamese and they like talked to me in Vietnamese right away. And then I gave them like that shocked look, and then they're like, "Oh, maybe you're Korean." But they asked me the second question, "Why are you so tan?"
Yeah.
Like, oh, I guess the sun in Vietnam is totally different from Seoul. And usually I don't really like, you know, um, I'm not out in the sun too much here, so maybe that was
Yeah.
the reason. Yeah.
What was your goal out there? What were you going to Vietnam for?
I really didn't have a goal. It's just like looking back, it's my first trip abroad after COVID. You
Oh.
know, after COVID happened, it's been like 3, 4 years. I've just been stuck in Korea only, and the most thing I could do is to travel around my country. So I felt like it is definitely there's hurdles to be made, like you have to check if they have like a quarantine restriction or like what kind of documentation you need, like whether you got the shots or not. So I checked which country has the most loose policy, and currently it happens that Da Nang, which is a really like a spot for most tourists. Like I think their whole economy is kind of built around tourism. So
Mm.
if they don't have tourists, it's really hard for the people to like continue with their lives. So I think that's why they loosen the policy a lot. So they're still quarantined. They don't expect any documentation from you if you are
Wow.
traveling from abroad. I think it's also like a thing for Korea and Vietnam, like it's a policy. But right now, the only thing I need to do is to get a PCR check this morning. So I think
Right before you can go about your like day to
yeah,
day.
about my
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
So that's why I chose that travel destination, and then I just wanted to, get a grasp of what it was like before COVID. I was traveling a lot, and mostly I was earning money to travel. So
Are things pretty strict in Seoul still right now?
no, it's loosened up a lot, but still you have to wear the mask. And it's just I guess now it's more up to you to protect yourself rather than the government trying to do what it can to stop the COVID from spreading.
Right. Okay. I mean, I think like in 2000, early 2020 for the U.S., like in March 27th of 2020, which was my birthday, our
Oh,
governor like announced shelter in place, and I remember like a lot of people thought it would just be a couple weeks, right? And
right.
it just like I didn't mind, but my wife was pregnant, and so like we were worried about that. And then in the beginning there was like treatments weren't super effective. Everybody was getting like these intubators, and, like just a lot of horror stories, pictures of like hospitals in Italy being overrun, stuff like that. So yeah, I was like a little bit nervous. We definitely like sheltered in place, especially with her being pregnant and stuff. But we had roommates that weren't necessarily concerned with all that, so like we can only do so much. But then, like honestly, within and then it got worse and worse and worse. Within a couple months, after like isolating so much, I noticed that like we just had like we didn't like socialize en masse as much, definitely.
Mhm.
But like
Mhm.
these small circles, like these small social circles, like I'd spend so much time with them that like we forgot that we didn't forget, but it would always be like shocking to see someone wearing a mask at that point because
Mhm.
like we weren't going out, we were not going to concerts or clubs or even restaurants or anything. And so when it's just us, our family and her family, then like I would always then I'd travel for work to like San Francisco or something, and then I'd be like, oh my gosh, I didn't bring a mask, I didn't, yeah. So it's just like I don't know how long until it's behind us. Um, I I don't know because it's technically like not gonna disappear, like it's not gonna go anywhere. So I wonder
Mhm.
if that's just the new norm, and I think like the biggest harm in that is like it definitely has like stopped new relationships from occurring. And my social life's probably a lot different being from a different country and like working remote too, but I haven't met somebody new in like 2 years, you know.
Right. I think that's also why like the NFT communities and Web3 just like built so fast, and people were so eager to build these communities just because we miss people and we miss like socializing and building connections. And I think that's how like it was like it worked better for us, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. That was definitely like one of the huge driving factors for um, for NFT communities by far.
Yeah.
So with that, did you say that the like your company has like a parent company, right? Is it called Arc too?
I would say like we no longer have a parent company because ARC is like SBIC, which is a nonprofit organization. So now it's more like where the ARC core, which is like the blockchain layer is developed by ARC ecosystem, and all the other sides like marketing or supporting this infrastructure to roll is made by Arden. So I would say it's just a separate entity now.
Okay. Okay. And I was just curious when you brought it up. Of course, like I found it on Twitter and stuff that you're like in marketing for that, and
Yeah.
I was just wondering, like, do you partake in any blockchain gaming yourself? I haven't found a blockchain game that I like yet.
Actually, I played some apps, blockchain gaming built on ARC because I think that those are really special and built by developers who are really into developing the ARC blockchain network. So I tried those, but like the ones that are featured by even MSQ, I haven't really played them because I'm really bad at games. That's the thing. Like, I feel like I'm defeated all the time when I play games, so I just don't play it for myself. But yeah, definitely. I just think that blockchain gaming is another level because this game plus it has like a uh, it's not like a movie, but how they're incorporating so much like cool technology into the gaming aspects, like AR, VR, and all those like sensual things that the traditional like 2D games couldn't carry over. And so it's really fun to see like how they're trying to make it more real, I guess, making the gaming experience
The
more
next
real.
time that there's a pandemic, we'll be so ready for it with all this AR and VR. Like, I'm super
Yeah.
excited. I'm definitely gonna get a headset soon. This game that I followed called Veil, and I don't think they're incorporating any blockchain, but they like this game looks really fun. It's first person shooter, which I guess is not new, but I think since I was a child, like I've wanted to like experience Call of Duty, but in VR, right? And
Mhm.
so I'm pretty interested. Can't wait. They'll be launching soon. Like they're definitely in beta, and it kind of looks like this old game called Half-Life. So like the
Mhm.
graphics are a lot more simple, but can't wait for that. I still haven't found a blockchain game that I enjoy. Um,
I think a lot of the guys were like interested in parallel NFT. I don't know how much they're built around now, but it's like card games and you just collect the
yeah.
cards as collectibles.
I've seen. I think that at this point, maybe most blockchain games are like card games, like
Mm-hmm.
kind of like Pokemon battles or like Yu-Gi-Oh or something. But it's just not my speed. Plus,
It's interesting.
oh
No.
no, I'm
Oh, okay.
not trying to play any card games, you know.
Uh,
But like I don't know. Do you think that blockchain? Okay, so we're talking about blockchain gaming just a little bit. I just want to touch on it because there's kind of a pattern that leads to like adoption of new technology. And
mm-hmm.
so what I've seen is like artist adoption of blockchain is very important for like adoption. So like Ethereum, Tezos is marketing. They're trying to market art, right? Solana, art, and gaming. And those are really the only two big use cases right now that are like,
Mm-hmm.
I think you'll probably understand more. You can probably touch on it from a marketing perspective. But I think that like both of those bring about user bases that like
Mm-hmm.
different blockchains are trying to like capture. And
Mm-hmm.
so it seems like artists, art, and video games. Okay, so I just wanted to know, like, is there a strategy behind, like, is that pattern a pattern there because people know that, like, gamers need to, like, pursue this game and that will lead to so much, like, blockchain adoption?
Yeah, most definitely. I think art, gaming, and all this is really about adoption. I think, like the crypto adoption kind of failed because not a lot of people understood what crypto was used for, and they're just saying, you is it for payment? But then for payment, it's so slow, and then you have to get the crypto from the crypto market, and it's like a lot of still inefficiency. But compared to traditional banking, crypto is just like, I don't know, it's like snacks. Like compared to international banking, or when I'm trying to send money over to you, it's so complicated. But crypto is different, right? At another level. But as much as but then for crypto adoption, it kind of like it's still very early. I think most of my friends have never purchased crypto in their life, and they've
Hmm.
never used it. But NFTs or gaming, it starts I guess it's the other way around. It's not like technology first and then adoption, but it was more like adoption and then people trying to understand the technology. So it's kind of
Exactly,
different,
you're right. Yes, what a great way to
right?
put that. So
Yeah. So
that's like it breaks those barriers. Like I don't need
mm,
to understand the technology. All I know is that like by playing this game that I would play anyways, I'm earning these things, NFTs, right? Like that's you you nailed. Thank you. That explains everything. That like
you're welcome.
there was something with that, and so like you really hit the nail on the head. That like that's why they're so important. Is people don't need to understand the technology to use it
Right.
if they're
Right.
using
Right.
it to sell and buy art or to play a game and earn rewards. That's sweet. That's a great. I'm gonna sound so smart in Twitter Spaces later on why video
Mhm.
games are important to blockchain adoption. And you can
Hey, no
yeah.
credit for me.
No,
It's,
thanks so much.
mhm.
Um, I wanted to touch on, I needed to ask if you got any new photos for WMFG that are going to be minted soon.
Actually, it's getting minted right now as we speak because I just launched, or I don't know, I started pre-mint for my my photos. And I've seen like Pain. He was like making claim pages and with his own smart contract, and he was always telling me, don't airdrop your NFT. Try to build your own smart contract and make a claim page out of manifolds. So I started it, and then it wasn't that difficult. I created a page, and right now I'm sharing the collection on Four Seasons for free. So
Oh,
um, basically what it is each photo symbolizes a season of the year. And I don't know if this is like a thing in other countries, probably not, but um, in Korea we do have very like strict differentiation between the seasons. Like it can be felt, it can be seen, and you feel it. You feel the seasons changing. But some parts of the world, or if you live in really like hot, a country with hot season all around the year, you just don't know what kind of seasons there exist, right? But knowing and appreciating these like four seasons, I felt like there's photos of my beach that I took to capture those seasons. So I went through and tried to select the best photo that can represent each season.
I love
And
your
then,
spring photo. It's the only one I'm looking at right now. Is
yeah,
that the only claimable one, or are you doing one per season for
one per
free claim?
season. So this week is spring. It's ending on Monday. And then next Friday to Monday, it will be summer. And then the following week, fall and then winter. So all
Oh, I
around
caught it on
September.
the first week. I'm good. I can collect all of them still.
You can.
Okay, so I gotta
You call
launch
me
this
on the first.
podcast by tomorrow so everybody knows, like, you can get these free claims. And so for anyone not listening, like, or not, anyone not
That's
watching, anyone
listening.
that's listening, um, what we're saying by free claims is that, like, Sook is minting them. No, I still have to mint. I have to pay gas, right? So, anyways, Sook's released them for a limited time that you can get these photographs for free, and they're a part of the Where My Feet Go collection. And like, if you mint by Monday, you could potentially get all four seasons for free, which could be like really important later on for you. I don't know, but I think that I'm gonna do it. So I'm gonna do it. Um, I'm
I
excited.
limited, yeah, I actually limited the editions to 25, so there's only 25 photos for spring and 25 for summer.
But you
And
can claim two.
yeah, but next two. So the reason why I capped it to 25 is I don't want to make a unlimited amount of NFTs. Like, mm, for the holders, it doesn't feel that special, but at the
Hmm.
same time, I don't want to make it like a one-on-one where, I think it's real kind of hard to collect my collection because the price is not that affordable, I think, at the affordable range. So I just want to make this collection just more fun and more accessible to holders. And at the same time, it's just like, I want this to be a fun thing. Like you collect a season that you really like connect to, and everybody has definitely a story behind a season that they like. It's because
Yeah,
they're like born in that season, or they had fun during that time, or like you know they can connect to my photos. So hopefully it will just be a fun collection, and that was the intention that I had behind it. And just appreciation for different seasons and what they give us, what kind of meaning they can add to our life.
agreed. I'm sorry. I was trying to mint it while you were explaining that, but I'm just
Do
gonna
it
have to
now.
take my time. Um,
Yeah.
well, no, I want to focus. I think I'm just gonna share at least this image for now. I'm a little nervous
Uh-huh.
of like switching scenes, but it should be fine. So if I switch to screen share, go ahead. I'm not gonna edit this out, but can you talk to make sure I'm still capturing audio?
Okay.
I
Yeah.
got you. Perfect. Okay. So I'm gonna show just this, just an idea so people understand. Oh, and I'll share it to you too, so that you'll be able to follow along. Just so that people understand, this
Mm-hmm.
is a minting page, right?
Right.
This is the spring edition, or the, yeah, spring, yeah, I call it the spring edition, right?
Right. Yeah.
And and this is the Where My Feet Go collection. So when Sook is saying there's a picture of my feet, it's not a picture of your feet. It's a photo, and your feet are in it. You know, well, you know what I mean. There's a difference. Okay, and so it's really also there's like provenance because this manifold it's exclusive to Sook as an artist. So it would show that like you minted it from this contract, which is really nice instead of buying on a typical NFT marketplace. So what people could do is like get a wallet, like this is called MetaMask or Coinbase, um, and then you connect it, and you only do this to websites that you trust. This is and you should look through smart contracts and everything. So I just want to show people kind of the process, and then you mint, and then you can get two of these. But what I wanted to ask is, at least one person can only get one, right? Because there's only 25 editions.
25 editions, but if you like, you can find two. So yeah.
But then, like, somebody's stuck only claiming one. Like, if everybody claims two, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's less, but I just think it should be like first come first serve. Like if you think you want to gift it to someone special when you see my photo and then you're like, oh, I remember someone I want to really gift this NFT to. Why not claim two? It's fine. Yeah, but I want to say like max 5 when there's only 25.
Yeah, yeah. That's cool. I'm definitely gonna do two. I think giving away NFTs is like like really fun. So I might find somebody that I think it would resonate with, which I think is gonna be somebody that likes to travel. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so you are minting right now. I asked you if you were gonna be minting anything soon. I was actually like trying to ask if you had taken any photos for the collection while you were in Vietnam.
I did, and especially for the window of imagination because it's, you know, I can only take those photos when I'm on the airplane on the flight.
Yeah.
So I did take some for to update and it's more.
It would be funny if you took one while in the clouds, and so it was just a white picture.
Yeah, I was thinking of it too. But actually taking the photo
Wow.
of the window of the airplane is actually hard because it can it can show the reflection of the inside of the airplane if the lighting isn't like quite right. And then airplane is always like, trembling. So my my
Oh
hands are
yeah.
trying to stay steady while trying to capture the right moment. So yeah, actually this time I felt like, oh, it was kind of crazy when I took those photos and it came out pretty nice. It wasn't really it wasn't professionally set up, but ended up being pretty good. I'm
Some of those
satisfied with
were
those.
really nice. The Heavenly Clouds ones, those were really intense. Very
Yeah,
cool.
and then well, I think most women when they see the window of imagination collection, they like the rainbow one with the sky and just looks very calm and peaceful. So
Oh
they
yeah,
like that
I
as
saw
well.
that one too. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you got some photos for it's called
A window of imagination.
Window of Imagination.
Yeah.
Which I guess like those are the only two themed photos I've seen so far. So you have two different collections essentially, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
And then
Right.
within them there's other small like subsets of the collection, like the
Right.
Four Seasons for WMFG, which
Right.
like I have like two seasons here realistically. Um, yeah, we have four, but we're in like a Mediterranean climate, so like we're in like the
Mhm.
same belt that like Italy would be in, so not a lot of seasons there. Um, when you went to Vietnam, did you say you went for 2 weeks this trip?
Mhm. Mhm.
Okay, so I have some good fun questions, if that's okay. They're
Mhm.
kind of funny. If you could bring home like one meal that you had in
Mhm.
Vietnam on your last trip, do you know what it would be?
I think it would definitely have to be fall. Uh, in English, it's pronounced fall, but
Yeah,
fall.
pho. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but my friend told me like there are two different words like fall and pho. So I'm gonna pronounce it fall. But anyways, these Vietnamese soup noodles, they have that. We have them in Korea, but they're not authentic. It's like totally different flavor. It's like, tasting like McDonald's and then tasting original burgers that are made like handmade burgers, right?
Yeah.
So like these noodles, it just like melts in my mouth. So I would definitely bring salt. Like
I've
it would have.
gotten okay, I actually did a survey not that long ago. One of my friends is launching a project called Meta Ramen, and he just wants to come up with like good technology and like garner like rewards like NFT loyalty programs for these ramen places and restaurants and create like a community for the New York ramen community. And so I did like a survey and I was like, but everyone knows fuzz better. I think America prefers ramen. I personally have never had good ramen, like top ramen or like sorry, that's like a dehydrated. Do you know what top ramen is?
What is it?
It's like okay, so it's like 25 cents, right? A quarter of a US dollar. And it's just like a pack of dehydrated ramen noodles with like a bunch of like seasoning. They
Wait,
just like
wait,
pack
wait.
it for seasoning. 25
Okay,
cents.
that's called ramen. Okay.
Top ramen. Yeah. And
Mm.
so, and there's other ones too, but, and I've even gone to like a ramen restaurant. I'm totally on topic, trust me. So I've gone to like a ramen restaurant that I thought was going to be really good. it was not my thing. I'm convinced, like, because of pictures and stuff, that I would love it if I just went, like, to Japan and had some good ramen, right? Um, so I'm a big pho person because we actually have, like, Korean heavy population here. And I think, or sorry, not even Korean, Vietnamese. We also have a heavy Korean population here in California. But I have really good pho restaurants nearby, and like one of them is in Pleasanton, California, and it's called Pho Saigon.
Mm-hmm.
And you walk in, and then like they have a bunch of stuff like going in their kitchen all the time, and you don't see like a buffet, like you don't see the food, but like as
Mm-hmm.
soon as you order, they like run your food out to you, and you're sitting at like tables with other people too. So there's like these large tables, and like
Mm-hmm.
maybe you and the person that you work with, like you walk in sitting with like eight other people, and they just give you like this giant bowl of pho, and it's just like I would get all the crazy stuff, not crazy, sorry, but like the more unique things that I wouldn't typically try. Like there's like blood broth, like a beef blood broth that I've
Right.
enjoyed. I love like the gosh, some of the best parts are like the tendons. So what kind of pho did you like? You said that you had it like really authentic. Did you try to go for like a fresh?
Beef.
You did the beef.
Yeah,
Okay.
beef, of course, chicken, and but I think my favorite is where like the vegetables are already in the bowl and they just pour in the broth and then you just
Oh yeah. It's
it's
fresh.
like right. You just feel like yes, this is raw, and then you just sit down and like devour it, I guess. So
I
yeah,
love pho.
definitely.
So pho or
Mhm.
ramen? Which do you prefer?
Oh, ramen. It's so different though.
Yeah, of course.
And I make
One's
the best
good.
ramen, so it's really difficult. But you know what I feel like is like what I know for sure from this trip is that Vietnamese food is really healthy.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Ramen's
like
fried in oil, right?
and not healthy for you.
Yeah.
It's like so much calorie inside there. Like it's best to avoid actually ramen. Like if you can, and just eat it like once a month or something. It should be a monthly ritual, not
Yeah.
weekly. But like Korean food is very spicy, it's salty, and there's a lot of carbon in our diet. Like we always have to have rice and then a bowl of like soup, which isn't really that healthy too. But then in Vietnam, there's not that much of like spice or seasoning going around because the what do you say, like they put in leaves, like I don't know what's it called in
The
English, but
basil?
yeah, basil or things like that, like like or rosemary, like which is used in Western cuisines, like they use those kind of like herby grass or
Yeah.
like those kind of veggies make their own scent, and there's no need to spice more things. Like they put the lime and that makes
Yes.
the flavor
Fuzz
and spice.
so good. Fuzz my favorite because
Right,
I always feel it can be really sodium heavy, right? Like it can be really salty, but I think like healthy fats are really good for you. I think that there's a lot of healthy fat in pho. It's
right,
not fried. It can still technically be like oily depending on how it's cooked, but typically, like you said, like they'll just make broth, and like broth's usually very healthy as long as you're not adding like junk into it. I love like
right,
when I'm eating pho, I just feel like vitalized because it's also really strong. Like it is like naturally flavored with like these herbs,
right,
but it's like I can add in whatever, and then I'll do like some, like this isn't traditionally Vietnamese, but like um, sriracha. Do you know what sriracha is?
no, I would
See,
have to
that's
Google that.
so funny. That's like I'm just gonna share screen then. I think.
Yeah, sure.
First I'll show pho, right? Um, oh, I gotta share. Okay, so but basically, did they have like any table condiments, like table sauces that they would um, have nearby, like in the restaurant, like fish sauce or anything like that?
Yeah, they always have soy sauce and then the chili sauce, and the last sauce is I can't
The
really
chili
name
sauce.
that. Yeah, they always have the chili sauce, but I never added any condiments in my meals. Like they were perfect as they are, and I love that just like um, healthy feel, or like like you said, you don't need to add more the original seasoning.
Yeah, no, I just like so I pulled up some pictures of it, and when I do put the sauce in, it's usually like towards the end, because I don't want to put it in and like have it with the whole bowl, but I think I like to like I do add some chili sauce because I want to like make it spicy and stuff. I just really love pho, and I love like I don't want to talk about Korean food that much, but I will if you want to. The reason why I don't want to talk about it is because I don't want to like get ignorant, but like because my interaction with Korean food is in America, right? So I'm
Right,
sure it's
right,
like a lot different, but like I had like Korean barbecue or like some of my friends, like one like Hansub, he would like bust out like kind of like a skillet that he would put like in the middle of the table, and then we just like chop everything up and just have. So that was really healthy too. Um, and then some rice on the side, and we wouldn't even do the soup. But I just really enjoy food. So I'm glad that you said pho. Um, there's a joke that like everybody goes, yeah, I'm gonna open a restaurant called Pho King, and so it's like called like or like I know in San Jose, California, Pho Queen got banned. They couldn't open because they needed to rename. Um, because
that's
then you have
so
Pho
funny.
Queen and the Pho King. So
Yeah.
um, I won't blurt that out. But all right, so that was the one food. Now let's say there was like a place. Did everybody like the pho? Like everybody you were with?
Yeah. It's just noodles, I guess. So noodle is much better to like, I guess, adapt or kind of try than other like cuisines. So yeah, no.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, yeah. There's some pretty crazy cuisines. Like not. I'm pretty Mexican, right? Like my family's from Mexico, and like that cuisine can be a lot to adjust to. I think I wouldn't even think twice about it. But like they have some pretty crazy dishes that they eat on a regular basis. It's not just like a traditional dish. It's
Right.
like every culture kind of has those things that's like, oh, that's kind of crazy, but yeah, but even we barely have it. In like
It's like
Mexico, they're still
kimchi.
eating it. Yeah, it's like cow tongue or like tripa is like the intestine, which is in a lot of pho too. I
Right.
actually really enjoy that part. And then like um, the tripa though, like if you get tripa, it's like fried intestine, so like it's just
Mm.
super unhealthy, I think. But
Right. Different level of healthiness.
anything fried just isn't,
Yeah.
or like chicharrones I talked about. Anyways, I'm way off topic. So you said like if you could bring back one food, it would be the pho. And then I wanted to ask like out of all the places, or let's say like activities that you did in Vietnam, like what would you recommend? Like if I said I'm going to the same area for one
Mm.
day, where would you have me go? It
Mm.
can't be to a restaurant either. It has to be different.
Actually, it's not really related to an activity, like specifically, but I have a big recommendation, which is to download this app called Grab. And without Grab, you can't do anything much in Southeast Asia. Like it would be the same for like Thailand, for example, because Grab is such a big service in those regions. And what they basically do is they have this network of delivery men, and they will do anything for you basically. And all of the food, restaurants, cafes are all connected to this platform. So after you download this, you just check your current location, and then you order like what you want from those food and cafe stores, and then they will deliver it to you like right on your doorstep. So you just need to walk out, pay for it, and then rate the driver. And actually, it doesn't like end there, but Grab is actually the app you use to pick, call the taxi drivers, and also you can ask the scooter guy. they will take you to places
Oh,
with
yeah, yeah,
their
yeah.
scooters.
You
So
were on
if
a
you want,
scooter. I saw a picture of you on a scooter,
I
right?
was,
Yeah.
yeah, in one of my, one-on-one edition in the current collection. But actually, it's one of the experience that I want to recommend to anyone that goes to Vietnam to ride a scooter because scooter is their culture and like they don't ride as much cars or taxis as we do because it's like another level of um, how do you say like
Well,
uh, well, right. It's really hard to afford that level. So most people are just on their scooter and not even bicycles. I haven't seen that much bicycles around. It's
oh,
all
really?
scooters.
Can I
Yeah.
show you someone else that, like, so I hope you run into this person if you haven't already. But his name is Ashraful,
Mm-hmm.
and he sent some pictures to me recently of like some Bangladesh like vendors, um,
Mm-hmm.
or just people like traveling around. So like he posted this on Twitter, and this is actually how I would have pictured Vietnam until you told me that there was no like scooters. But this is like very, very like these tricycles. So I'm showing a picture of a guy in a covered wagon that's sitting on a tricycle. Are you seeing
Mm-hmm.
this, by the way? I
No, can you
probably,
share the screen with
yeah, I'll
me?
share. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry. Okay, so this photo here, right? And he's got a ton of these.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Some of these will be in the Token Travelers collection too. And he's such a good photographer. But I kind of pictured seeing some of these in Vietnam, and I suppose
Uh,
not.
Actually, there is, but nobody use them for like regular transportation. It's slow and also, people wouldn't ride that to work, for example.
Okay, right, yeah. Not when
Yeah,
you
so
can have
it's
a
like
scooter.
I guess it's like a century ago, like it's a past thing. It's around like for tourists for sure. Like it's just like seeing horse carriages in the States. Like nobody would use that for
Yeah.
transportation, but it used to be like kind of thing. Yeah, so yeah, it's a cultural thing, but not being used in a daily life right now.
Yeah, right on. So that's something that I would do. And what state did you say you were in? Vietnam?
It's Hanang. Hanang is like where the beach is. Like the whole is a coastal area. It's such like a big, humongous beach. I would say like they have different names for different parts, but I just feel it's like one and whole because it seems like it has no borders. It goes way up to Hanoi, like that
Oh,
beach like it's like connected and just like going up. So yeah, that part. And I've been to Ho Chi Minh before, and that's where the previous scooter photo was from. But Ho Chi Minh is like the capital now. The old capital used to be Hoi An, but Ho Chi Minh is more like busy, I would say, and then you can see skyscrapers and like that. But I felt like Da Nang and Ho Chi Minh wasn't that different. Like, you know, it it the level of life or like how much it's built, it's not that like there wasn't to me it seems to be there's not much disparity and I even talked and met a lot of Koreans there who've been establishing businesses or like starting their lives and they said like they don't feel um, it's not inconvenient for them to start there just because it's not the capital or where all the
mm,
actions are taking place. So I think that's also a good thing because, like, in other countries, like the capital and the rural areas, the level of life or how much things are developed are kind of different.
yeah. So the differences between the two places aren't extreme, but
No,
where are you staying when you go to
actually,
these like cities?
um, I looked through like the Celtic website. I used to work for one, so I know like how to get the best rating actually. So I go through them and pick the one. Like for now, I guess it depends on what kind of trip you're planning. If you're going there for 3 days, maybe I would book the expensive ones because I would rather like make the most out of my travel. But if it's like a long term stay, then of course more like budgeted hotel where you can wash your clothes or cook or you can't always
Do you know what
eat out all the
Airbnb
time.
is?
Of course I
Okay,
do. Yeah.
I'm not asking like to be condescending. I'm asking because I don't want to just assume that it's international even, I don't know. So I guess it is, yeah.
Hmm.
Airbnb. So like can you get
Yeah.
an Airbnb in these places?
Of course you can.
Oh, okay.
Airbnb is like everywhere. But the thing is,
It's
I
not cost
prefer
effective?
it is cost effective to use Airbnb. But the thing is, for Airbnb, you have to connect with the host. So there's like the platform has really little or no responsibility. So it's just like a platform where post their accommodations and then
Mhm.
people make reservations. But then if you have an issue with the host, it becomes very complicated because the platform will step away and they'll be like, it's an issue that you guys have to solve and it's not an issue with the platform. But if you are to book with like Expedia, Booking.com, or Agoda, all of these like international um, reservation websites, then the platform has a lot of responsibility and you're making the booking. So if something goes wrong, you can go through their customer service or center. So I guess you can weigh which service that you prefer. But Airbnb, I think more than the cost side, many people choose that because um, there are accommodations that just feel like it's like an Instagram
Yeah.
thing,
Oh yeah.
right? When you're like there, you're like, oh my god, this is heaven.
I haven't had a negative. I mean, I've gone into Airbnbs and I'm like taking pictures and stuff. I'm like, yo, your couch is broken. I just got here. So I had to like take a picture so I don't get blamed. But aside from that, I just go through and I like try to trust the reviews, right? Like
Right.
I feel like I don't know. Look, people've gotten like bed bugs from hotel rooms. So I'm just
Right.
like I try to like look at the reviews and kind of use that to gauge. So I'm not gonna do it just because it's cheaper. Um, I usually look for like somebody with like a high rating, but also a lot of reviews. And I know that technically can be like farmed too, but some people have to go through a lot of effort to do that. So I just kind of
Mm-hmm.
bank on it. I've only stayed at like three Airbnbs. Um, nothing super grand like the Instagram worthy ones. I stayed in some nice places, but they weren't Airbnb. Um, and so I wasn't sure if that was out of the country too. So it sounds like if I were to go to Vietnam, I would need Grab and I'd stay
Mm-hmm.
at an Airbnb. I really do enjoy it. And then there's photos of you like in a canoe as well as probably called
Mm-hmm.
something else. Was that in Vietnam or in
That
Thailand?
was in
Thailand.
Malaysia.
Malaysia.
Malaysia,
Oh
yeah.
man. And so you just didn't go there because of COVID restrictions.
Yeah. Actually, it's more tighter in Malaysia in, in the current situation, but I think it's gonna become more lax now because, for instance, Korea, just before my visit, I had to do PCR test twice. Once before taking the flight and once after taking the flight. But it like changed all of a sudden just before my like 3 days ago. And then they were like, you don't need to take the PCR test before the flight. Only after you land you can take it. So
Ooh.
yeah, I
I'd
guess
rather know
more and
before
more.
my flight. You're kind of playing with fire because then you'll be where you want to go, and
And
then
then be stuck in quarantine.
yeah. Oh no.
Yeah,
I want to know before I get on my plane still, even if it's not like required.
right. So
That would just be such a bummer.
right, it is. So I guess more and more like these restrictive policies for COVID will be loosened up. And, travel is a big part of people's life because, it's about experiencing culture. It's about leaving what you are comfortable at and just like freeing yourself up and seeing what's out there in the world. There's so much to see and like That's why I really loved your tweet the other day. You said there's a right for everyone to travel, I think, to see the
Mm.
world. I
Mhm.
think that was a great tweet because I really like connect to it. I feel like, COVID is a situation that, you know, we can't do anything about it, right? We feel very helpless about it, but just like you said, it's like more and more it's becoming more like a cold. So if you catch it, you just have to get back, your immune system will be built and then so it will become a part of our lives. And hopefully traveling will be restored slowly and maturely like that. So,
Yeah, I definitely hope so. I
mm,
hope too that like we can meet one day. I bet you went to NFC
definitely.
NYC. Am I? Did you?
No, I've
You
been there
didn't?
last year. No, no. I wish I can this year, but actually, I'm going to travel to the States very soon, like in November. So when I go there, I want to visit like Metaverse Gallery or like NFT galleries and check out
Well, the
what's
thing
that.
about the metaverse galleries is that you should be able to visit them from wherever you're at. I'm just,
That's right. I
um,
was referring to, I guess, more like NFT galleries.
yeah, yeah. No, I know. I'm just giving you a hard time. So you're gonna be what? East Coast, probably like Florida and New York.
New York, New York.
New York, yeah. Well,
Yeah.
if there's ever a big event, I'll like definitely make sure to reach out because that's one of the things I don't get worried about going places and not like knowing anyone. I've traveled a fair amount that way. Um, I want to start doing things different. I've definitely learned that it's just so worth like knowing someone where you're going to
Mm,
like
mm,
just to like even if you're only going to meet them for one day so that they can kind of line things up for you or tell you what it's about or just call them ahead of time so that they can help you figure
mm,
things out. But
mm.
um, you know, about going to NFT NYC like without knowing anybody, that just like seems kind of daunting to me because there's so much to do and figure out and then like
Right.
everybody's already there with like their who they went there with. So I just feel like there's already like all these clicks, and I'm like, well, I want my own click then, you know. Just like
You'll be that you'll be representing TT, token
yeah,
traveler.
token. Well, so that's kind of if nothing else, that's what I'm really excited about. We're getting like a pin map that will
Mm,
like upload like inform just so people can say like city, state, country or something
mm,
and their Discord username, and they can just start putting like where they've been, so we can say like, oh, look at like everywhere Token Travelers have been. We're already like we only have like 100 members. We're already international, but then plus adding in where people have traveled to, and I think that will be a really cool way to spark engagement on Discord,
yeah,
because then
definitely.
like then I can refer to it and I can
Mm,
be like, oh well, I want to go to Korea, and then
mm,
they look at the map in Korea, they see a couple pins there, and then they see like your username, right? And
mm.
so then they just like at you on Discord and they're like,
Right.
hey, I'm going. This is kind of what I'm looking for. Do you have any ideas? And you're like, oh no, I'm not
Mm.
familiar with that area. Or like, there's no jet skiing here. What are you talking about? This is Seoul. Can you jet ski in Seoul?
Yeah, you can. If
Really?
you just, yeah, drive out 30 minutes, you can do jet skiing, or you can even jet ski in Ham River, which is like, just close by. So
Wow, cool.
you can
Yeah,
do.
I'm all about that stuff.
But definitely, yeah, I think I actually checked the announcement. I think it was posted today, wasn't it, about this
Or
pin
yesterday, yeah.
matching?
Oh
Yeah,
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 yeah.
yeah. And I was like, oh, this is really great utility for the community members because, like, I think I was going to respond to your tweet on what kind of utilities or what kind of benefits do you expect from token traveler community. And one of the best thing is like about knowledge and sharing experiences, right? And
Yeah.
building connections. So I was thinking along the lines, like, it's like digital nomads, like where you are checking where other people are located. And if we can do like a meetup, like IRL, it'll be more
I
nicer
think
because,
that there can
mm,
be a lot of them. Like,
yeah, yeah,
because it's a community that likes to travel, I don't need to
definitely.
like find where the biggest portion of my community is and then like
Right.
try to plan like an event here and leave everyone else out. It's like okay, we're gonna be like Florida, we're gonna be in Bali, we're gonna be doing this, and they're
Mm.
probably gonna be like more micro like type IRL meetups, right? And then like bigger ones would probably revolve around other events like NFT NYC. But I think that's cool because like I plan like okay, you not everybody wants. Would you ever go backpacking by chance?
I would.
Have you been?
Mm, actually, very close one. Yeah, I've been
Okay.
to backpacking. Yeah.
So like I'd like to send people that are interested on a backpacking trip in Canada at a national
Mm-hmm.
park. And there's a guide that takes like 6 people and it's like
Mm-hmm.
$2,000 a person. Well, I can
Mm-hmm.
just be like, well, I'll book the whole thing for half and then like I give those spots to the community and there's
Mm-hmm.
like these redeem like based on the photograph they're holding, then they can redeem the points they've acquired for this
Mm-hmm.
trip. And so, like, that's a backpacking trip. That's an IRL meetup now because 6 people are going with a guide.
Right.
And, like, it doesn't have to be like some magnificent thing. And I think it's cool because we're going to try to use, like, web3, which people associate with virtual reality and, like, disconnectedness.
Mm-hmm.
Where people picture that. Like, I'm in a VR room by myself for hours a day, whatever.
Right.
But we're going to try to use these technologies to, like, continue to
Yeah.
bring people closer and like
Yeah,
I'm
that's
excited
very
about it.
exciting. Yeah, I'm excited too. Actually, it's not about traveling community, but I've actually seen those kind of like digital nomads. There's companies actually that provide accommodations or like place where they can work for like co-working spaces.
Mhm.
And what they do is like they have these like agents in different countries, and then um, if you say like, for instance, I want to stay in this city for 30 days and this is what I need, they would provide that for you. Like it's like a travel agency, but more like for digital nomads. And I
I've
used
seen
to
that
help.
recently, like just recently, so it's funny you bring it up. Yeah. Did you say
Yeah,
you used to host?
so basically they were looking for someone that can kind of like mm, take care of these digital nomads in Korea. So I found this very interesting and I wanted to connect with them and see who are these digital nomads before I became one. Like I didn't really like know how they could travel and like work at the same time. So I thought it was a great opportunity and then I signed up for that role. So I helped them to travel around Korea and talk to them and make sure their accommodation is okay and visit their office, talk to them Korean, and did all these stuff. And it was really an amazing experience because they come here, they try to absorb the experience and cultural aspects as much as they can while they're staying. Like some of them really like took effort to learn Korean while they were here, and they just like enjoy the whole experience. So I think that would be another like the picture of token traveler that I think would be really wonderful.
I can see people like just deciding to do that. I think, if something good like that already exists, I would just like encourage people to do that, right? Like I don't need to
Mm-hmm.
try to control
You
everything,
want, right?
and so it's like, I would probably just recommend that or try to reach out to digital nomads and just say like, is there, I would try to like establish a partnership of sorts so that like
Mm-hmm.
they get marketing and then our users get like 10% off their service or something. But about that, so you got to host for Korea, South Korea. I I wanted to know, like as we're wrapping it up, I wanted to know what is one thing that if I were to go to Seoul, and you only know me a little bit, but like
Mm-hmm.
honestly, I'd probably try to jet ski in the river. Okay, that's probably like one of the first because I'd probably meet some really cool people. Do people fish in that river?
Yeah, they do fish, but
I'd
they're
probably try
mostly
to like
alone.
pull over along. Yeah, they don't want to talk to me, huh? Okay, but I'd probably try to bug like some fisherman or figure it out.
I
Y-
see.
Anyways, but aside from that, what would you recommend? I'd like to go to like a K-pop concert
Oh
too.
yeah,
Oh
definitely.
gosh.
I can
Okay.
see.
Aside from those things, what would you recommend?
Aside from K-pop concerts, huh? If I were a tourist, what would I do? Hmm. I mean, there's so many things to do because it's a city, right? And
Yeah.
then just like if you drive like 30 minutes out from the city, you can like reach the nature, right?
Mhm.
You can like jet ski or like hike or whatever. So I think there's like everything and anything that you like to do in Seoul. Like it's like everything, little bit of everything here.
Let
So
me let
it's
me combat that a little bit, okay? Because there has to be a reason, like
you
for me to
travel to somewhere.
go. Yeah. So
Yeah.
like, I mean, I live by big cities, right? I can technically like, oh, there's a little bit of everything. You know, you can kind of do this, you can kind of do that. There's still a reason to travel. So like, what is? I'm so sorry. I'm like pestering you now. Like, what is that thing that like I can't do in San Francisco?
Hmm.
A K-pop I probably stole it from you actually. But like, there's
Yeah.
there's there's other there's got to be something.
I think what I like about my city is that there's the old and the new that is existing together. Like mostly, like in other countries too, they have this like name called Old Town, and then there's
Mhm.
the city, right? It's kind of like that. So actually, Seoul is very important place historically and politically because it's where they like in terms of war. When there's war, that's the first place that you would hit. Like Seoul is where everybody would put their effort to keep it. So there's a lot of what do you say, like walls within the city. So you can
Mm.
see like historical things, and also there's a lot of beautiful palaces where the kings and
Oh,
queens,
really?
emperors used to live in. So you actually, if you wear a Korean traditional costume called hanbok, you can walk in there free. It's a free entrance if you wear the hanbok, like your traditional clothes. So you can have like a authentic like traditional experience and feel like what it would be like to have lived centuries ago and just have a moment of sereneness. And it's surrounded by mountains as well, with palaces, because it's where the kings and queens used to live in. So basically, it's in the best location within Seoul. And then if you just walk out of the palace, it's a bustling city again. So like everything, the buildings are already built, and like the
That's it
cultural thing.
right
Yeah,
there.
you can go to galleries, you can shop, you can, I don't know, do what you want to do. So like I think that's one of the biggest attraction of the city. Like you can taste both the old and the new.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think actually what's it called? Lotte Mall, which was like built only, I think it's been like 3 5 years, but it's one of the top 10 tallest buildings in the world. So like we have really big skyscrapers here, but at the same time, like the historical ruins or things like that remain in the city. So hopefully that will be great attractions for you.
Yeah. Thanks. That's so now that's just really cool because I want to know like we will travel. Like my family, my wife, myself, my kids, we will travel. But I just need to know, right? And I think like going to see the palaces and stuff would be really interesting. I think museums are underrated. A lot of museums are like going out of business right now. And I think
Mm-hmm.
like as the world becomes more and more the same, I
Mm-hmm.
think we will start to cherish museums more and more. And then even more so than that are just like places that remains different. So like these palaces or like, like iconic things like the White House, even though you can't those things will just become more important as every building starts to look the same and all our food starts to taste the same and like all those stuff. So it's nice to see like these holdouts and I'm sure Seoul like does preservation for it, right? Like they hold some things like sacred. They have laws in place just like the U.S. like conservations and easements,
Right.
all sorts of stuff. But that'd be really neat. I did get to dress in traditional like Hindu Indian garb for a wedding. They insisted, and it's gorgeous. It's like the most gorgeous stuff. But if I were to go to these places
Hanbok, yes.
Hanbok. Would I dress in that, or should I go in my normal clothes? Like, is it
I
more
would
exclusive to like South Korean culture, or to Korean culture rather? Or would it be rude for me to dress in a hanbok?
no, it's never good for you to dress
Okay.
up in hanbok.
Okay.
It's like, yeah, yeah. It's like you see a foreigner in hanbok and you feel like, oh, they're trying to feel like one of us, or like,
Hmm.
try to experience what is really Korean. So no one would think that that's rude.
Really? That's cool. Because that's how I'd feel about it, but I wouldn't want to go there and like. Do I have to worry about my beard?
No,
No.
no,
Okay.
no, we don't.
I feel
No.
like a lot of people want me to shave when I leave the U.S.
On top, as I said, like you get free access to television if you're wearing hanbok too. Even Koreans wear that.
Sweet. Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Silk. I hope people look into your collection, look into your career. I know that you left. We didn't get to talk about it, but you did leave like a more typical Web3 type job, right? And
Yes.
start on the path that you're on now. And I know a lot of people are looking to get involved with Web3, so it would have been nice to talk about that. But I got off topic, so
But I think what I like is like you and I, we can talk about traveling, we can talk about NFTs, we can talk about building communities, sharing culture. There's so much things we can talk about if we have unlimited time. So I'm just happy to like share this kind of like conversation. And even though like I was like feeling really you know uh hard to speak this morning because
well,
I
it's
just
early for
arrived,
you. It's
and plus the mosquito, like it didn't help me at all. But it was really my pleasure. It's always fun talking to you.